famous races in the world, the Indianapolis 500, and you're going to be surrounded by like 40,000, 50,000 of your closest friends soon, Jack. They're going to be on the track to view what is no doubt going to be one of those "where were you when" moments. Take it away, Jack.
That is absolutely right, Belkis. Craig, good afternoon from Indianapolis. They call this the greatest spectacle in racing when they run the Indy 500 on Memorial Day weekend here every year. Today, they've given us our greatest spectacles to look up at the sky. And I can tell you in the last few minutes, we have come into the first part of the partial solar eclipse. I'm going to take a peek while I'm talking to you here. And yeah, the bottom right chunk of the moon, or of the sun rather, has been clipped by the moon. So it's starting to move in. The light is starting to dim here a bit. It is really quite surreal. Brad, if we could, let's just widen out a little bit and give everybody an idea of where we are here today. Tons of attention from media members and the crowd here that has gathered in the grandstands all over the place. This does not quite give you a perspective of just how large this crowd is or just how large this facility is, but they wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to welcome folks here to be a part of this event, to experience it in a very unique way. Totality here is expected to begin at 3:06 p.m. So just about an hour from now, we will be in the total solar eclipse at that time. It has been a wild few days as people have come in here from all 50 states. I believe 25 countries are represented here, as well as scientists from NASA and scientists and astronauts even who are affiliated in some way with Purdue University. A big day for Purdue. They're playing in the national championship basketball game tonight for the NCAA. And also, a lot of the representatives are here. That school has graduated, I believe, 27 astronauts who are currently working for NASA. And we will speak with a NASA scientist in just a few minutes to get an idea of what this means to them, the research that they're going to do, what they'll be able to learn, and how, in turn, this will help NASA prepare to eventually put humans back on the moon, as is their goal. That has been the goal with some of these recent landings that we've covered, and eventually, hopefully, to Mars. That is the long-term goal. But they are going to learn quite a bit about the sun today and about the solar system. They're studying it in numerous ways, and they have come here to Indianapolis because the weather is so perfect today. Perhaps a thin layer of clouds, some stratus clouds in the sky, nothing that is going to inhibit the view from this part of the heartland of America today to see something we won't see again for 20 years. And the word awesome may be overused, but that's what we anticipate this being, just a moment where, like you said, 50,000 of our closest friends are looking around. Let's give you a look at what we've been seeing the last few days.
Good day, sunshine.
The sun was out in Indianapolis Sunday. At an American landmark, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, playing host to eclipse watchers from all over the country, ready to take in a rare sight.
Indianapolis will be the best weather nationwide.
Trevor Peters and his colleagues at Purdue University are gearing up to look up and bring the science behind the celestial sensation down to Earth.
Our researchers are dealing with that every single day. They'll hear from them firsthand. They'll hear from NASA experts. And we have a major event happening in our backyard. And Boilermakers are there, and we're excited to be a part of it.
The total eclipse occurs when the moon passes directly in front of the sun. South Florida will see a partial eclipse, about 50%, while cities from Mexico to Maine will be in the path of totality. And while cloud cover could obscure the view in cities like Dallas, Indianapolis will see a picture-perfect view around 3 p.m. Monday.
It's all part of this learning experience.
Jacob Bleacher is NASA's chief exploration scientist. That's a big job. And where else would he be but here for this big moment?
When you work on this every day, it's a job, right? But at the same time, you take a breath and you look around, you experience an event like this, just like everybody else around this area and along the path will do. I mean, it just drives home how important and exciting it is for us to understand our Earth, moon, and sun, our solar system, and the place that we have in it.
Good good day, sunshine.
The sun will be out on Monday, but this is the moon's time to shine, casting a shadow on our small part of the planet, perhaps to remind us just how small we are in the solar system, or perhaps to lead us to learn more.
I think the most important thing to take away from a big event like this is just the amazement of curiosity. Just ask questions, just wrap yourself in knowledge and learning, and that's really what science is all about.
There's a debate going on here at Indianapolis whether people are on Team Earth, Team Moon, or Team Sun. In other words, we're not quite sure whose day it is because the moon is really the star of the show, perhaps. You just heard from Jacob Bleacher in our report. Jacob is joining me now. Good to see you again. Thank you for being here to talk to us and share this experience. I know we're both looking up with our glasses now to see the partial eclipse starting. Given what a rare moment this is, what's going through your mind as somebody who does this for a living?
Yeah, it's impossible to tell you how exciting this is. I mean, it's not something that you get to experience every day. And so these unique events are just something that are exciting for everybody. Everybody takes away something different, a little bit different from where they come from. I'm from human exploration, and so just knowing that we can predict these amazing events because of the science that we know is just wonderful. It's wonderful to confirm it with an event like this.
How much research is going on as we speak? And again, it's not like you can rehearse this or really plan for it any more than you do. How much will NASA be able to glean from something like this moment?
Yeah, well, what's wonderful is we have a fleet of spacecraft that look at the sun all the time. And what this does is offers us a unique perspective that we don't get from the spacecraft. So we're certainly watching here from Earth with science instruments, but also just being able to observe with the naked eye protected by these glasses is a great opportunity.
When you think about the work you do every day, you said in the report we just aired again that sometimes it is just a job, but at the end of the day, I know it's a passion for you and your colleagues. When you look up right now, and we can do it, I can't stop looking at it right now, we got to look at it. Let's take another peek. A little bit more of the moon is creeping in front of the sun. What are you observing? What do you see? What do you think right now?
I mean, it's phenomenal, you know, and I think probably what I said was our good days are really good. This is one of those good days. The number of people here, but not here, all along the path of totality, it's just such a wonderful event to bring humanity together.
Yeah.
I mean, the world along the path, regardless of boundaries, are all in this together, looking up at the sky, looking at the sun. It's just amazing.
There are so many lay people here, myself included, certainly. I'm looking up and saying, wow. When you guys are looking up at this and here to observe it, how do you explain to our viewers who are just like me, just saying, man, I can't believe I get to experience this. How do you explain to them how this helps NASA with the missions you work on every day, the effort to get men and women back on the moon and eventually to Mars?
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that everyone's paying attention to it is tremendous, right? So NASA is all about space and using space to look at the Earth and looking at the rest of the solar system, and to have everybody join us in that for a day. I mean, we're always trying to get the word out about how amazing the things we're doing are, and this is just one of those things that pulls people in and participate with us. It's just wonderful.
Good to be here with you, Jacob. Thanks for coming by. Come back anytime this afternoon. Jacob Bleacher with NASA. We're here. It's getting darker. We are ready for the total solar eclipse coming shortly, guys. Back to you.
Jack, thanks. It's already happening somewhere in the world. This is a live picture of the first view of totality that we're seeing. This is a live picture of Mazatlan, Mexico. Exactly what we've been hearing and talking about all day, all morning. The moon has covered the sun, and that ring around it.
Halo,
Here
right,
it is.
right.
Not going to see this again for another 20 years.
And just by a point of reference, when we look at this picture from Mexico, it's already starting to happen just a little bit here in our area. It began about 1:47 p.m. The peak for our part of South Florida is about 3 o'clock. 2 minutes past 3 in Fort Lauderdale, 3:01 in Miami, but you're already starting to notice it. Nothing quite like what they're seeing in Mexico, but give it a little less than an hour and you'll notice the change. Let's head to Texas, Kerrville, Texas. Ivan Rodriguez is there for us with a sense of what they're seeing, because they're not too far from seeing this as well. Ivan.
Craig, Balkis, 22 minutes to be exact. That's when we should be under the total solar eclipse. Now, behind me, you can see some people already trying to take a look and see through these clouds. Some folks have their glasses on looking up into the sky. When I take a look up there, you know, we can see part of the sun, but really we're sort of fighting between looking through the clouds, so we get a pretty good view every couple of seconds at best. Right now might be another view, for example, but latest I could see, the moon is right around almost 3/4 of the way to completely cover the sun. You hear some cheering behind me as well. Yeah, good view here. We're right around 3/4 covered. If you could, you know, if you could see it, it almost just looks like you're looking at just half of a moon, or just how you would picture the emoji, for example, of a moon when you type a text in. That's sort of the visual that we're getting right now. So when we're fortunate enough to see through the clouds, that's sort of what we're looking at here. A lot of people have been obviously very excited and also a little concerned with how much we'll be able to see. Obviously looking at those magnificent images come out from Mazatlan, Mexico, hoping we can get something similar to that as well.
And Ivan, it's my understanding that where you are in Texas, in Kerrville, Texas, there's usually like 20,000 people that live there. But today, there's a lot of new people that have just flocked to this location. There's like, what, 100,000 people that came to this part of Texas just to see this thing in person.
Those were the city projections, and it definitely put a lot of stress as well on the businesses here locally. As you can imagine, a lot of them stocking up, making sure that they can actually go through and get all that demand that from all these people coming in. We've spoken from people who traveled in from across state lines, California, Colorado, even local businesses telling me that they've seen people come in from internationally, Germany even, for example, just to get a glimpse of this celestial phenomenon. But, you know, the good thing is, at least in that path of totality, we're going to, right around that path of totality, rather, is 32 million people living in that area. But what's so special about this solar eclipse is the fact that a lot of Americans will be able to see even at least partial eclipse, 99% of them. So everyone will be able to at least somewhat get a picture of some eclipse, even though it might not be total. I mean, here, for example, we're hoping to get a good visual again of that total eclipse, even though it's going through the clouds. But everyone's still hopeful that within now a little less than 20 minutes, we'll be able to witness that.
Okay, Ivan Rodriguez reporting for us from Kerrville, Texas. Ivan Rodriguez, they are up next in the lineup here in this path of totality. Mazatlan, Mexico already saw the total eclipse. This part of Texas is up next, and maybe might not be as clear as it was in Mazatlan because of weather. And as this thing makes its way across that swath of North America, there's going to be some parts that get a better glimpse than others because of weather conditions.
That's a big factor. Hey, if you're at the office right now, go outside, bring your glasses, and look up. This is here. This is our area right now.
Bring your eclipse glasses, not your sunglasses.
Right. I think people have gotten the message. You need the special eclipse glasses, but go outside, leave work. Take the rest of the day off. This is cool.
Craig will write you a note.
Right. This is right now, again, in our area, the process began about 1:47 and will conclude just about 4:13 p.m. The peak is still about 45 minutes away, but you can already see a good sliver of the sun that's already obstructed, and it's just going to keep happening. Pretty neat to know that's happening right outside here right now. You have your glasses.
I've got the glasses. Can I run out?
Yeah, I think we need you here for a little bit longer. You're going to see it just fine from right here.
I know who's out there, though.
Yes.
Our good friend Alex Miranda is out there. He's got the glasses. He's looking up. He's oohing and eyeing with the rest of them. He's at the Frost Museum of Science in downtown Miami. Cool stuff going on out there, huh, Alex?
Belkis and Craig, you got me at the best time. As you know, it's been a little bit in and out today, but right now we see it very clearly, right? How cool is it to look up at the eclipse?
Very cool.
How'd you like it?
Well, it's really good. It's like, I really like it because you can kind of like see it really like, it's kind of like an orangey color, and it's like... It is. And it kind
but you're wearing your glasses, right? You're going to put them back down?
Yeah, I'm putting them back down now, but it's actually kind of cool because it like gives you kind of a warmth on your face when you're seeing it.
Yeah, it does. And look, Ori here too also saw the eclipse. Ori, you're also waiting in line for the telescope as well, which is one thing that Frost Science is offering the people who come by to watch it here. What was it like to see it in the telescope and also with your glasses?
Like the Cookie Monster took a bite out of the sun.
Honestly, That is the perfect description I have heard all day long. Sarah is our telescope expert here at Frost Science. Sarah, people are lining up to use this baby. Now, the weather's been a little bit, you know, Murphy's Law, right? What is this telescope helping us do?
So our telescope is giving us a big close-up picture of that sun, and we actually have our solar filter, which works just like eclipse glasses, but for our telescope. So we put this on the telescope like this, and you can safely look through the telescope at the sun and get that close-up image of that Cookie Monster bite out of the sun.
Let's just keep calling it that. I really like that. And it's just so wild when we think about it, right? That the sun is 400 times bigger than the moon? Isn't that crazy?
Yes, it is. It's very crazy.
Wow. So are you excited to see it when it gets to the biggest chunk of the sun that's going to get covered?
Yes, it looks like the sun's going to be pitch black. There's just going to be a thin line of the sun around it. It's going to be amazing.
And what is it like to watch the eclipse here at Frost Science?
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. We are here all the way from California.
You're kidding me.
We are, yeah. And his brothers are actually on a plane, and sadly, the pilot just announced the eclipse is right above them. They're going through the total coverage path, but they won't be able to see it.
It won't be a total eclipse of the heart. You know, I've had that song stuck in my head all day long. Here at Frost Science, they have programming going on throughout the museum. As you can see right now, folks are on the upper deck. The Vista is what they call it. We're on the Night Plaza here. People are viewing it all over the place. There's also a movie playing in the planetarium that is solar eclipse themed as well. Belkis and Craig, I'm going to leave you on this one joke, which I saw on Instagram. It was the best one over the weekend. A son walked up to his father and said, "Dad, can you explain the solar eclipse to me?" And the father responded back to the son and said, "No, son." In downtown Miami, Alex Miranda, actually on planet Earth, Alex Miranda, 7 News. We'll see you in a little bit.
Dumb. Good one, Alex. Thanks for sharing. Is there no school today? I mean, or is this like...
Well, I would
sort
hope
of like an
is.
approved kind of living science lesson today. So why not?
I hope
Absolutely.
they would bake this into the science plan
100%.
today,
Or maybe that's
any
the
plan.
California
Right,
family.
right,
Wow, that's cool. People came all the way from California to be at the Frost Museum, our science museum today. That is pretty cool.
And speaking of, we are thankful to have with us Dr. Cassie Freud with the Frost Museum, Director of Science Communication, and can spend a few minutes with us. Doctor, thank you for spending some time with us by phone. What is it about this spectacle that has everybody just mesmerized? What is this? And historically, it's always been that way.
Yes, hello. Thanks for having me. So I think the main thing that gets people so excited about eclipses is because they're quite rare, especially a total solar eclipse. Of course, we are only seeing the partial here in Miami, but the total is just this amazing kind of, almost spiritual, some people say, experience. So it's just really exciting.
What kind of a role, as we were looking at the live picture, it looked kind of cloudy, Dr. Freud. Is that going to clear up? Is it going to get better as we see this thing? Worse? And how long will it last? Because it depends on where you are. Like the maximum exposure is 4 minutes, but everybody isn't going to get the 4-minute mark.
That's right. So we just have to wait and see what the clouds do here in Miami. As they pass in and out, people at the museum are cheering every time they can see the sun. So it's really exciting. And as I think viewers have maybe heard already, the peak of the eclipse will be at about 3:02 or 3:01 p.m., and they'll be able to see it until about 4:13 local time. So even if the clouds are coming and going, hopefully everyone still gets a great glimpse of that Cookie Monster bite out of the sun, as Sarah said.
And Doctor, it's not just, obviously the visual aspect is the most compelling, but this is in some sense a feast for all the senses, because it's not just what we see, but in some places I gather there's also something that you could hear. There are other things that are associated with this coverage.
Yes, the temperature might drop if you're in the path of totality. It really becomes like night briefly for a time. So imagine that you're standing outside at night. That's what folks might experience. And that's actually one reason why scientists like to study eclipses. People who study animal behavior are really interested in seeing what the animals do when that sun is totally eclipsed by the moon. So that's one of the great opportunities of an eclipse, is we can study, again, this really rare natural event and see what people and wildlife do.
And Doctor, what kind of information can we glean? I know that scientists are really looking at today, I mean, in addition to the ooh and ah and the wow moment, but there is a lot of information to come out of today in terms of global warming, the sun, on Earth, and all of these types of things. What kinds of info are scientists hoping to get from this event?
That's a great question. So scientists can learn a lot from studying the eclipse. One of the main things that they've learned over, the past 10 years is a lot about the corona, which is the sun's outer atmosphere. It's that ring and the little wispies that you will see if you're in the path of totality. And this studying the corona helps scientists understand how energy travels away from the sun and, perhaps even the effect of that on us on Earth. By studying eclipses over the past 10 years, scientists have discovered that the sun's corona has a fairly constant temperature, which is very interesting. And also, I'll say NASA is doing a ton around the eclipse, and they're very interested in people's observations of the eclipse. And so if anyone out there is interested in contributing to that, it's called, citizen science is this movement where anyone can contribute to science. If you just Google NASA Eclipse Citizen Science, you'll find all kinds of ways that you can contribute with your photos and your videos and your tales of the experience.
Fantastic. Dr. Cassie Freud with the Frost Museum, thanks so much for your insight and your knowledge of what we're all experiencing today. Thanks for giving us a few minutes of your time.
Such a big monumental day. These are live pictures from Indianapolis, not totality there yet, but you can see it is starting to happen. It should happen there at 3:06. 7's Jack Royer is live for us there, along with like 50,000 other people that have crowded into the Indianapolis Motor Speedway to have a look at this thing, and it's just starting there. We're just starting here, and we hope that you'll stick around with us for the rest of the afternoon because we got lots to talk about, and there's lots of oohing and ahhing to come.
So stay right there. We'll be right back.
After a car accident.
How far out are we from Hanson? Producer needs to know. Hanson.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Are you guys running a package or just doing a talk back? Yeah, I can hear you. Hey.
Fox 1.
Take in at least some of it. This is the Magic City right now. How's it going to look from the 305, where it's a little bit cloudy out there right now?
That is a good question, but I know who to ask. Erica Delgado is here. She's in the Weather Center. to just tell us a little bit more about how these clouds are going to play a role in what people here will be able to see, Erica.
I know. So unfortunately, our clouds have been in and out. They've been patchy at times. It won't be cloudy entirely. So even though it looks a little cloudy now, we could see some clearing. You see that thin line there just across the nation's midsection? That's the path of totality, and it's very narrow because the moon is so much smaller than the sun. So the shadow that it casts on Earth was very small, and you need to be in the right spot. For us here in South Florida, we're at about a 46% maximum eclipse, and that will happen at 3:01 as the moon briefly covers part of the sun, 46% of it. Exactly when all is said and done, this should be done at 4:13. But what about that cloud cover? Well, we have an area of high pressure sitting just off of our coastline, producing that easterly wind flow, which is what's bringing in those pesky, patchy clouds, if you will, across our area. We'll see in and out some sunshine as we continue. It was a lot more cloudy this morning. This was a look at Fort Lauderdale Beach, and look at what it looks like right now. So some of our coastal areas seeing a little more in the way of that sunshine, so some good news there. Now, as far as the conditions, if you look there across southern portions of Texas, I'm going to circle it for you. We're already beginning to see some near totality there, and that's why the satellite goes a little dark across central and southern Texas. We're starting to see it happen there. So that's what will happen, those along that path of totality. For us here in South Florida, no rain, but definitely some cloud cover. So a reminder to use that protective eye gear that we've been talking about. I'll have much more for you coming up in a few minutes.
All right, Erica, thanks for that update. You know, where you are is what you see is what you get. I guess that's the bottom line. This is what they're getting in Arkansas right now.
This is Russellville, Arkansas, what they're getting right now, and wow, it really is, you know, incredible when you look at that. That's next up, I think, is Illinois. Yes, no, this is still Russellville, Arkansas.
Among the groups that have gathered in Russellville, there's a group there that there's a mass wedding scheduled to take place during this thing. So how crazy is that?
I mean, it's one of those things. And there was an interesting statistic I saw. These happen every 18 months or so.
But they take place out in the ocean.
So yeah, unless you're in the middle of the ocean, no one sees them.
Nobody sees them. So that's what's so cool about this.
And the next big one for us is in 20 years.
Okay.
We'll be in the line of totality in 20 years. So you and I'll come back and we'll do it then too.
Can we be outside for once, maybe?
Well, we'll see. We'll
I'm going to hang on to my glasses.
Yes. They're having a bit of a watch party over at FIU this afternoon.
Gail Levy joins us there live with some of her new friends. Hey, Gail, what's going on there? Nobody's got glasses on. What's up?
Well, okay, it's been a little cloudy out here, but actually now the sun is starting to peek out, and anytime that happens, that's when you'll start to see people looking up. Look at this guy over here. He's ready to look. He's watching. He's modeling. Beautiful, fabulous, guys. Thank you so much. But there are a lot of kids out here today. I mean, I feel like I should be back in college at this point. Everyone is so interested in what is going on today and seeing this solar eclipse. And they have the fabulous Dr. Jim Webb to tell us a little bit more about what is going on. I mean, you must be pretty happy to see all these kids out here.
It's great. I love it. Yeah.
So what's been going on right now? We can see there's a little sliver covering the sun. Talk to us. What can we expect?
Well, basically, it's just the moon's going to cover over about half of the sun. Unless you have glasses, you wouldn't even notice the difference. If you were just walking and didn't know what's happening, you probably wouldn't notice it. Only up north when you get in the umbra part of the eclipse, which is the dark part of the shadow, you see a total eclipse. Does day become night and things change. But still, it's interesting to see that, if you have proper glasses, you can see the moon covering up half of the sun.
Yeah, those glasses are definitely important. I've thrown them on, and you really do. You can see quite well, and you have even set up a telescope for the students. I mean, what is the different view like through that?
The telescope is magnified. You can see detail on the sun. You can see sunspots. You can see
no, I didn't. He said he's fixing
disturbances on the edge of the sun, so you can see a lot more detail.
And we're not going to see another one of these for another 20 years. To be able to do this
here in Miami.
In Miami, but here in Miami, this is a pretty special event that we are getting, the 50% of it. Talking about that, what is that like for you?
It's okay. I'd rather see a total eclipse, but it's still pretty good. I mean, just getting people interested in science. That's my big thing. I mean, I really want to get people interested in science.
Well, kids are definitely interested in science today, and we are going to have a lot more as this party is just continuing to grow out here on FIU's campus. But for now, I'll send it back to you guys.
All right, Gail. Sounds good. Thanks a lot. We'll check back.
And our coverage continues as we head into a quick break. This is how it looks outside right now here in our area. So, again, the extent to which we're going to get the full Monty, it's still about a half hour away, but still a pretty neat sight as it is right now. Stay tuned. Coverage continues in a minute.
The eclipse, it's a dark screen. You know why? Because Totality has just hit in Kerrville, Texas, and this is what people there are seeing right now. Darkness, blackness, and how cool is this? A live picture of it, and you can see right now it was Totality, and now it's just starting. The sun's starting to peak back again because the moon is starting to move away. Impressive.
And this is Dallas, so it's a little bit of ways from Kerrville. So
we switched shots.
That's
okay,
the view they're getting there. But yeah, and night has fallen at 2:30 in the afternoon there in this part of Texas. Now, though, we want to head up to New York because folks are preparing there in Buffalo, and Connor Hansen's with us. Connor?
Hi, Craig and Belkis. That's right. We're just starting to see the moon cover a little bit of the sun. You know, people have been on their toes with the weather all day, but luckily we're finally getting some breaks in the clouds. We've got our glasses and we've been able to see a little bit of the eclipse so far. We still have almost an hour until Totality hits here, so we're hoping these clouds will keep moving out of here. There's, as you can see, tons of people behind me lined up in the park hoping to get a clear view of this. Upwards of 1 million people came to the state of New York just to see this eclipse, mostly on the western side of the state, so they've been preparing for years for this event. So certainly hoping people will be able to walk away with that good experience and clear view. But even if there are some clouds, there are some reminders, like you're still supposed to wear those safety glasses. It can still burn your eyes, and they still could get a pretty cool experience when that Totality hits. It's going to go dark. We're really excited to see everybody's reaction to that, how all the animals even react to that. We hear the birds go silent, thinking it's nighttime. So for me personally, it's my first time seeing a total eclipse, and we're not going to see one in most of the U.S. until 2044, 20 years. So that's why we're seeing so much hype here and so many people traveling to be in this area for it.
Connor Hansen, thank you. Live report from Buffalo, and I guess that part of New York, they're about 3:20 is when they can anticipate what they're going to get.
Tell you what, whether people get the full eclipse there or not, they can see it because of the weather or not. You know who's going to get the boom is the local businesses there. They will definitely be happy that everyone came out. This is a live picture of what things look like outside right now here in South Florida, here in our area. You can see it's starting to happen. The moon is starting to cover up the sun just a little bit. We're not getting Totality here in our area, but it's still going to be cool. So if you've got the glasses and you can do it safely, get out there and check it out. If not, stay with us. We've got our eye on the eclipse for you. We'll be right back.
Here and online, you're watching 7 News live coverage of the Eye on the Eclipse, and things are really starting to happen.
They are. They're starting to happen outside. I got the glasses, but I can't do it. Wow, these, I can see why this is what you need. This is like, right. I can't see my hand. This is crazy. Robin Simmons, you're in Hollywood. You're on the Broadwalk. I hope people have these glasses. They are effective, legit. Without this, you're in trouble.
I am seeing a lot of people with regular sunglasses asking us if we have Eclipse glasses. Thanks to DoorDash, full disclosure, that's how I got mine. So if you don't have them, there are a few places you might be able to find them, but we're seeing just a few people out here on Hollywood Beach with their Eclipse glasses. We ran into one gentleman who was here from Fort Myers. He was staying at the Diplomat and actually forgot his, had a mix-up with his luggage, had to come back and decided, you know what, I'm going to check out this Eclipse. He got some glasses at a local store, a local cell store was giving them out, and he was the star of the Broadwalk. People were coming up to him to compare their paper glasses with his fancier pair, and it is really just a gorgeous day to take in this solar eclipse. You know what? It's fine that we are not seeing totality here in South Florida, because when you have 75 balmy degrees, moderate surf, a nice breeze, it is picture perfect weather for getting outside and taking in one of Mother Nature's most incredible spectacles and seeing it for yourself. So people are out here enjoying the weather, and a lot of camaraderie, people stopping to ask people who have glasses, hey, can I borrow your glasses so I can take a look? And we've been watching that, and it's really incredible to see people reaching out, helping each other, also they can take in this little bit of the solar eclipse that we are getting here in South Florida. And in about 20 or so minutes is when we're going to see the peak of it here in South Florida. Craig, Belkis?
Super cool. It's interesting how so many people are just out there but not really all that interested.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, guys, you want to say look up, but you're really not supposed to, so don't do that. Robin, you've got your glasses. I'm sure you're going to put them on and take a peek eventually. This is what we're looking at right now, what it looks like outside in our neck of the woods.
Some cloud cover there, but, you know, hopefully it doesn't get the best of us. Let's head out to Broward College. Vanessa Medina is there, where some folks there are planning to take in the spectacle as well. Vanessa?
That's right. There's a watch party going on here. You have students that are just so excited, probably to be out of class and enjoying the outdoors. Now, we have Dr. Tony D'Elia over here, who is an astronomy professor. Now, what are you doing with this plate? We've seen the glasses. Now, what is this plate that you're doing? What's going on?
So this is called a pinhole projection, and basically what it does is the sun, it acts like a tiny little camera. And when you project it onto the sidewalk, you can actually see the crescent sun with the moon blocking it out right there. It's a safe way, if you don't have solar glasses, you can just put a little pinhole. Actually, the bigger the hole, the better, but it can't be too big. And you can just hold it on the sidewalk or anything that's light colored, and you'll see a projection of the eclipse.
Can you explain to viewers why it's so important to have these glasses, and I know that they're so dark, they're actually like welding glasses almost. Explain that.
Right. So the sun is so bright, obviously. For your eyes, there's a limit to how much light your retina can take before it gets damaged. You have to reduce the sun's luminosity by a factor of 100,000, which means you have to make it 100,000 times dimmer than it is naturally, so that your eye can safely look at it. And that's what these do. These are basically the same as welder's glasses. They reduce the brightness or the intensity by a factor of 100,000. So 0.001% basically is the amount of light that it lets through.
Oh my! So this is an exciting day. You have
sure.
all kinds of students out here.
Yeah.
And the next time that this will happen will be
9 years. It's going to happen in the U.S. They typically are separated by 12 to 18 months, depending on the kind of solar eclipse. But the next one in the U.S. you're going to have to wait in the neighborhood of 9 years.
Okay,
Yeah.
Dr. D'Elia, thank you so much. So now we do have some cloud coverage, and like I tell my kid, you get what you get and you don't get upset, but we are in it for the rest of the day here to watch this amazing eclipse here in South Florida. Back to you guys in the studio.
Right you are, Vanessa Medina.
That's
right
funny.
you are.
That's what the boss tells us, too. You get what you get and you don't get upset.
It is what it is, but it's still going to be pretty neat nevertheless. This is Ennis, Texas right now, and they're getting the real deal. Look at that, and wow, and as the sun starts to peek out, incredible.
That's why I need those special glasses.
That's right, that's right. Stay tuned, our coverage continues.
And our eyesight and put on the glasses and everything else, but you know, the shift in the energy and what happens when the moon covers the sun atmospherically and everything else, we've got to talk about our friends in the wild as well, our pets, zoo animals, and everything else. So keeping an eye on how they react to this, because they do react.
There is an impact on them. And 7's Michael Hudak is at Zoo Miami right now with a little bit more on this for us. Mike?
And some of our furry friends can feel some ferocious changes when a solar eclipse happens. More on that in a minute. Can I just say this right here? It's never a bad day to be at Zoo Miami. I didn't have to tell you guys that. You already knew that. But especially on a day like this, where the Southern Cross Astronomical Society of South Florida has set up these individual telescopes for safe viewing of the eclipse. And people are very excited. Ma'am, are you excited to see the eclipse?
I am excited.
Okay, you go and see it. So we know how people react. They get excited. They post things on social media. They tag their friends on social media, even if their friends don't want to be tagged. But as you guys mentioned before, what about the animals? First of all, they have no heads up. Suddenly it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then it's half dark outside. It looks like sunset. So we spent all day going around Zoo Miami to try to observe some of the animals to see how they are doing. And we also spoke with the assistant zoo director here at Zoo Miami to ask, are there certain animals that feel things a little bit more? Is it the flamingos? He said no. He said it's actually the zebras and the giraffes that actually feel the most effects of the eclipse. Here, take a listen to what he had to say.
They're usually going to sleep around sunset, and then suddenly it's middle of the day, it's sunset. So they act a little off. Sometimes they act a little skittish. But birds, usually, I mean, the first thing that you hear in the morning are birds chirping and stuff. And then all of a sudden it gets dark out. And so the nocturnal birds sometimes will wake up.
And that made me laugh a little bit. The nocturnal birds coming out here. So we have everybody in line here putting their glasses, their protective equipment on. If you don't have a telescope, you're going to need these lovely glasses. I have a pair right here that I'm going to put on right here. So if you don't have your protective eyewear, you can't look up straight at it. Oh, I'm looking up straight at it. It looks pretty good. We'll keep you updated throughout the rest of the afternoon. For now, reporting in Southwest Miami-Dade, Michael Hudak, 7 News.
Michael, thank you. We'll see you soon.
We can't forget about our furry friends. As we head into break, this is a live picture. This is Russellville, Arkansas, where they're not in totality, but they're almost there. Or did they get it and now they're coming out of it? It's hard to tell. Do you have the list of times
almost
there? They're not quite there yet.
2 minutes and they're there.
But they're next on that swath that's cutting across America as we speak. 32 million people expected to experience the eclipse, the total eclipse.
The Great
today.
American
The Great American Eclipse. 32 million people out there are going to see it, and you're going to watch it here with us. So stick around. We're coming right back.
10 minutes away from the most we're going to get out of this great American eclipse, so stay tuned because it's going to get really interesting really soon.
Lynn Martinez is out there. She's out back here with her glasses on and is going to tell us what's it look like. Not totality, but you got your eclipse pants on, that's for sure.
You like them? I put a lot of thought into this. This is my celestial look, and these, by the way, I want to give credit to Vivian Rhodes, his daughter. She blinged out my amazingly cool eclipse glasses. So yeah, it's really cloudy and it's windy and you can't see anything right now, but 20 minutes ago it was so cool. It looks like we're, you know, again, as we've been saying, like a little Cookie Monster bite out of the sun, but it's just super windy, and I don't know, give it another 6 minutes, the clouds will go away, and I bet at the top of the hour we're going to see an amazing view out there. Back to you guys.
Yeah, we're 301. Your mic went out, so we want to thank Vivian Rhodes, Joe Rhodes' daughter, for blinging out Lynn's glasses. There we go. You got your shout out, Viv.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Just a touch, but we are seeing some times of sunshine within and out clouds. Our visible satellite is starting to show that now. Now, if we look exactly where we are on our partial solar eclipse, we're almost there. The moon is almost at 46%. That'll be our max eclipse here in South Florida before it moves in, and then all will be said and done just after 4. Here's a look at our satellite in South Florida. You'll notice some dimming right now. You'll notice those clouds were a lot brighter in the last hour or two, and now they're just a little lighter, more of a light gray. So we're not expecting total darkness here in South Florida, but we are starting to see some of that dimming over our area. And we're seeing that totality there across central and southern Texas. You see how the satellite just begins to disappear there. We work our way across portions of the Ohio Valley, starting to see some of that dimming as well. Still no dimming across northern New England. That's the very latest. We have our eye on the eclipse. Much more for you after the break.
An important message for Americans age 50 to 85.
Well, if you've got the safety glasses, now is the time to go outside and see what is happening here in South Florida, because it's happening for us. The eclipse, the total eclipse is happening. Here it's partial, but it's something not going to happen again for 20 years. So if you want to see it, check it out. Thanks for sticking with us. We're not going anywhere. I'm Belkis Nuray.
I'm Craig Stevens. South Florida's peak is just 2 minutes away.
Are you struggling with pain? ChiroCare of Florida is here to help. Whether it's an injury or a chronic condition, our
Hello and welcome, everyone, as we come on the air now at 3 o'clock. This is a live look at Indianapolis, where there ain't going to be any sunshine in just a couple of minutes.
And a reminder that until we hit totality, the blinding light is dangerous. You've heard it once, you've heard it 100 times, if not more. So when you do look to the skies, wear those protective glasses. It's a cosmic event, the Great American Eclipse. Hello again, I'm Craig Stevens.
I'm Belkis Nuray, and this is it. This is the moment all you eclipse people have been waiting for. It's happening in Indianapolis. 7's Jack Royer is live at home on one of the most famous races in the world. It's where they race the Indianapolis 500, and that stadium, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, is packed with tens of thousands of people. They are all on the track for one thing and one thing only. They want to view the total solar eclipse. Jack, what is happening right now? Get those glasses on and share it. We want to see it through your eyes and hear. Tell us what's going on.
Belkis, it's hard to describe how it feels right now. The camera, it's almost hard to translate how dark it is, but it also feels like the middle of the day at this moment. We've been watching, forgive me as I turn around, but it's hard to look away. It's an eerie darkness. There's a quietness about it. The temperature has dropped substantially. We expected a degree change of about 8 or 10 from about 72, 73 down to the lower to mid 60s. It certainly feels cooler all of a sudden. We're hearing some birds chirping, at least I am. I'm noticing some sort of flying around in a way that I haven't noticed all day today, so some change in behavior. You hear the music being played on the speakers here. It's unbelievable how dark it is, but yet if you look at the people in the stands, it's clear that they're sitting in sunlight still. The sun has appeared through my glasses almost like a crescent moon for about the past 20 minutes. Now as I look up, and I'm sure you're seeing a shot of this as well on your screen of the sun itself, it's just a halo is how I would describe it, of sunlight peeking around the moon at this time. Still bright out here, but again, I'm at a loss for words. This is one of those moments where you just don't quite know what to say to describe what this experience is like. It is a crisp, chilly all of a sudden. It was cold yesterday. It was much warmer today. Reminded me of the weather I experienced when I've come to the race here at the Motor Speedway with my family over the years. And now it's cool. The wind is blowing. It is, as obviously, you don't need me to tell you, it's as dark as it's been yet. And here we go. We are moments away, 3:06 is the time that totality begins. My clock says 3:03 right now. As we look up and see, it's just been eerie to watch as the moon has just overtaken the sun, glided across. I've been watching on the radar as it's moved along the path of totality and crept closer here to Indiana, central Indiana. And now a hush has sort of fallen over this crowd, which stretches the entire front stretch of this raceway, Belkys, Craig. It's really incredible, and we're just moments away from the best part.
Jack, just to tell you what people here at home in South Florida are seeing, we see you on one side of the screen, and on the left side of the screen, we are seeing a really, really cool shot of the actual eclipse. It's solar cam, and we can really see what you're seeing right on our TV screens. And as you said, it's still, totality is still 2 minutes away at 3:06.
Assuming that our clocks are calibrated. I'm curious, Jack, as we hear the reaction.
Sounds like it's happening. Everyone's getting excited.
It's happening right now. There are people out on the, as I said, the front straightaway here at the Motor Speedway, people packing the grandstands, the famous pagoda behind us, and those suites up there. People are starting to realize this is the moment that they've been waiting for. Some people have been planning this since the last one in 2017. Some folks we've spoken to told us that they came from all over. People from every state. 25 countries are here at this event. And you hear the reaction right there. Here's the moment everybody has been waiting for. Wow, I'm looking with my glasses. I can barely even make out the sun anymore because of the tinting on this being so strong. I'm going to take them off and just experience this because the experts at NASA told us once we get into totality, and only in the path of totality can you look up at the sun directly. Right. No one at home should be looking at the sun directly. Here's the moment, ladies and gentlemen. Wow.
Oh, wow, I'm getting goosebumps, and I'm not even there. It's like, wow, incredible.
It's incredible to see the colors in the sky changing. It's a bluish purple, and we may be able, I'm hopeful that through the clouds, we'll be able to make out some planets. I'm not a scientist. I believe that is Mercury right there that I'm seeing, and here comes totality.
This is it. And again, on the left-hand side, this is solar cam. This is how it looks if you were out there and had the glasses on and whatnot.
And the shot as the crowd goes wild, as they say.
You can see the sky. It's completely changed colors since we got with Jack. And amazing.
And you don't get a full appreciation for how dark it is because of how we can manipulate the camera to make it lighter.
And now it is pitch black dark. It is dusk-like out here. This is unbelievable. 3:06 in the afternoon. The sun is hidden behind the moon. I see several planets. The skyline looks like dusk. A hush has fallen over this crowd as we all take this in together. Noticeably cooler. It's not quite pitch black, as you can tell, but it is, I would say it feels like right before sunrise or just before sunset. And my goodness, guys, I wish I had the words to describe what this looks like. Not a cloud blocking it, a halo around the sun, and there it is. The moment we have all been waiting for. Totality of this solar eclipse here in Indianapolis, Indiana, with thousands of people who've come to witness it. Oh man, I wish this could last longer. What an experience.
Well, it's 4 minutes, right? That's the amount of time that we're going to have it. So I'm interested, Jack, like the people around, are they on their phones? Are they, what's everybody kind of doing?
I would say the majority of folks are just looking up like I am. Certainly, I would say a quarter of people are on their phones trying to take a picture, but boy, this is something I just want to witness with my eyes. I've got to take a picture here while we're talking just of the darkness. This is so eerie, and on the camera phone, obviously, it looks like the moon, but this is unbelievable.
I bet you're kind of torn, Jack, right? You want to take the picture on the phone, but you want to be in the moment because this is such a moment in time. You know, we don't get this, like we've been saying all afternoon. It's not going to happen for another 20 years. And this is one of those, where were you when the eclipse happened, you know, and you want to take that picture, but you want to feel and be.
It seems most people are experiencing the moment. You hear here comes the cheers. It's overwhelming, this experience, because of the energy in this facility. This is a place, as we've said several times, that hosts this incredible race every year. It's one of the loudest places I've ever been on race day, and here it is eerily quiet, yet 50,000 people minimum are lining the track, the grandstands everywhere to take this in. It's just an incredible sight. I apologize to all of you for being at a loss for words, at what this feels like.
You're in the moment, Jack.
I think, you touch on something that, especially in the world in which we live these days, to have something like this for this moment in time to bring everybody together and to experience it as community. And it really makes it just so special. As we see now, the sun is beginning to reappear.
How fitting that the thing that gets everybody to come together and agree on the planet Earth is something not even happening on the planet Earth. That feels fitting in some way, doesn't it? This is just, everybody here is here for one reason. They're all here to experience this. Now, let me tell you, I believe that would be our north. Is that? No. That would be the northwest, perhaps, or the southwest. Let me get my bearings. To the west, the sunshine is appearing more in the sky. Now it's starting to look like a sunrise just this direction off the track. Here comes the sun once again.
You get those glasses on.
We have experienced totality. Yeah. Don't you worry. I want to keep my job, and I need to be able to see to do it. I've got the glasses on as we see now the first portion of the sun that was blocked by the moon about an hour ago when the partial eclipse began is starting to peek back out. You can hear the reaction here as the sun comes back out.
What you're seeing there, viewers at home, is what's on the left of your screen with solar cam. That's why now it's starting to get bright there again, because that little sliver on the left-hand side of the screen is the sun starting to peek through. But incredible. We saw you. You started dusky. You went dark, and now you're light again.
Here it comes up. I mean, it's so bizarre, and it's going to happen fast. Just like the darkness happened so fast, here we are again. That is unbelievable. I feel like I'm 8 years old out here being so excited, but how do you not get excited about this? It's so cool.
You're not the only one there, Jack. That's
we're here on the set, and when it was happening, it was, I don't know about you, Craig, but I was like, wow, this is really, really cool. And when you're in a place and you're physically there, you get the energy of the people. It makes it, I can't imagine, Jack. What a lucky guy you are that you get to be there and experience it. Good for you.
Well, and I feel so grateful to be here and experience it, first of all. So thank you, Channel 7. But what's so funny is I've met meteorologists out here from some of the local stations in Indianapolis, all over the place out here, who are, they were gearing up. We're all doing our jobs, but now we're all giving each other thumbs up, like how exciting, how cool that we get to be here for this. Now people are starting to mill about a little bit. It's still just as cool as it was during the eclipse itself, but now everybody's looking at their phones trying to see if they were taking a picture, what they got. But a lot of folks still have their glasses on. I'm going to take one more peek while I'm still with you, and you hear the beautiful music being played. This is just a happy occasion. It's the perfect venue for it. We could see some planets, as we'd hoped to see. I would say the clouds have not been a factor at all here. Like I told you earlier, a thin layer of what I believe are stratus clouds, but I will leave it to our very skilled meteorologist to correct me if I am wrong, and I very well could be. That was not a factor at all here. We seem to have just a picture-perfect view. It's really been cool.
And you know what's funny? When you started, the music was this sort of, I don't want to use the word spooky, but it was like this cosmic, kind of ominous, spooky vibe. Ooh, the eclipse is coming. And now that it's sort of on its way out, the moon is on its way out and the sun is peeking back, it's like this joyous rah, rah, rah tune. It's really, they really choreographed this really well.
Yes, I think it was 2001: A Space Odyssey, and I think we've moved on to some Strauss now. So the mood has shifted.
We're talking just about the spectacle of it, and what a reminder of really how small we all are, and the existence that we have here is just this big.
We're specks
relative to what we're seeing.
Specks on the big blue marble, right?
And you know, that's what, forgive me, that's what NASA has been talking about, how this is such an opportunity for them in their larger goal of going back to the moon and eventually getting to Mars, understanding our solar system. And this is nothing that you can rehearse for. This is something you just have to experience, similar to a moon landing or one day going to Mars. The opportunity for them is incredible, as we've been reporting on. I can't wait to catch up with Mr. Bleacher, who we spoke to earlier, to see how he experienced this and what he makes of it.
And neat too, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, how for all of human history, moments like this, it's always, whatever culture, whatever civilization, people have done this very same thing. How it's always managed to bring a sense of community and bring people together as we take in this celestial spectacle.
And you know, what, if I may, we were speaking, NASA representatives and I were talking about how events like this, eclipses, used to really scare people years ago before they knew what it was. Well, and I got to tell you, certainly after experiencing a total eclipse, I see why it would scare the daylights out of me if I didn't know what this was.
So to speak, right.
Now to know the opportunity that exists is unbelievable.
And you know, back to NASA, what you were saying, Jack, they use this, and we heard from our friends at the Frost Museum, they use this as such an opportunity to research and gain knowledge about going back to the moon, landing on Mars, and everything else, and how everyone that's out today watching this and taking photos on their phones and whatnot, they want those photos as well. They say they've got a program called Citizen Science. They want to see your photos because they want to gather all of this information to make today, to make this moment so worthwhile for research, and so they can use it to, you know, move their NASA, their space program forward.
And they've spoken about not only the photos that they want to hear what you heard, what you saw, what you experienced, because given that these only happen so often, they don't know what they don't know about them. So that's a great reminder, Belkis, of that ask from NASA and how really we can all contribute to the furtherance of their work. Right. And one more thing, one more quick thing, NASA has been telling me how, you know, people tend to forget the phone you have in your pocket, the radio in your car, all of this technology that has been developed for our everyday use. Much of it started with the research done for the space program. So just to tie it all in this one human experience is really incredible.
All right, Jack Royer in Indianapolis, thank you for walking us through that so brilliantly. Just an incredible stretch of several minutes there. Thank you, Jack. And what a great opportunity for NASA to build enthusiasm for the space program by getting people involved with the program of sending photos in and whatnot. And you know, it's a stroke of genius on their part. This is Cleveland. This is what they're getting right now. They are in totality as we speak at 1/4 the hour, and the spectacle continues.
Makes its way across. We want to head back to Ivan Rodriguez. He is in Kerrville, Texas, and what's going on there where you are, Ivan?
Craig, Belkis, I mean, just about 30-40 minutes ago now, we were in that totality for 4 minutes and 25 seconds. Leading up to that moment of totality, we're fighting through those clouds, which we have all day long. We were getting glimpses of it and seeing, for example, the beads, those glimpses of light that are right around the moon that come through from those sun's rays, and that diamond ring as well, that singular source of light really shining through right before it fully covers the face of the sun. And then we're in that moment of darkness, and really all the way leading up into that complete moment of darkness, we started hearing a lot of cheering, a lot of people that were excited to witness that moment of totality. And then there was also some silence, and you can really get the sense that people were really trying to soak in that celestial phenomenon that we were all experiencing. Right behind me in this park here, some people are now beginning to head home, head back to their hotels, many who traveled from out of state. I spoke to people from California, Colorado. I spoke to local businesses who said that they were serving people from Germany, England even, for example. So a lot of people coming to witness this moment in history. But again, you look at other images, like you mentioned in Ohio, and you just see, you know, that full amazing imagery of totality, and it's just almost incredible and hard to describe.
Yeah, I think that you're not the only one. At different times, all of us have been at a loss for words to find a way to describe. And I'd imagine among the people who you have spoken to, it lived up to its billing. I mean, there was nobody who left what they saw there just a little while ago disappointed.
No, nobody left disappointed. And it was interesting, we spoke to people who actually witnessed the 2017 eclipse as well. Many of them convincing their friends, for example, to come along with them and witness this one. And it definitely lived up to it. Obviously, it would have been nice to have zero clouds in the sky to get a 100% clear view. But the glimpses that we could get through the clouds were absolutely incredible. And what's interesting is, you know, again, what we can learn from the solar eclipse, what scientists can gather years from now. There was a lot of talk, right, about what could happen with animals and the effects of the solar eclipse. When we were here, and again, moments before it went pitch black, we noticed a lot of birds flying around in the sky, almost in a circular motion. Again, that might not have anything to do with the eclipse, or maybe it does, but it's just some things that we noticed immediately in that moment, and then they all sort of just went away and stopped flying. So it was just an incredible moment to witness.
And Ivan, am I mistaken? Didn't Kerrville, Texas, a couple of months ago, they had an eclipse not long ago?
Yeah, there was, I believe it was a lunar eclipse in that moment that we were able to see about a couple of months ago, if I'm correct. But I'll tell you what, since then, at that point, there's been so much more preparation leading up to this solar eclipse as well, with their projections of thousands of people coming into town. And again, I think we said in the last time we spoke, the town only has 25,000 people. So a lot of more people that they were able to host here to witness this event.
So they had a lunar 6 months ago, and now today they've got the solar. So they're like, buy one, get one free. All right, Ivan Rodriguez, thank you from Kerrville, Texas, for that live report.
And what you saw a moment ago was in New York, Tupper Lake, New York, and they're about, by the clock here, about 5 minutes away, a little less than 5 minutes from Totality there. So that's the spectacle that they're going to take in Tupper Lake, New York right now.
Let's head back down south here to FIU. Gail Levy is there for us live at an eclipse watch party. How's it going there, Gail?
It is a party indeed. Literally just a couple of minutes ago, everyone was just staring up at the sun, looking at the eclipse, of course, with the glasses, and just oohing and awing at this natural phenomenon. But actually, I just met Eric. He is a PhD student studying astrophysics, you said.
Astrophysics.
Okay, so this obviously means a lot to him to be able to see all of this right now. How are you feeling?
Feeling great. This is a lot of fun to see, and it's been great just to look at it, even though it's 46%, so not the whole thing, but it's still a lot of fun to see.
Oh my God, I bet. And you've been manning the telescope this whole time. We've been out here since, too. What's that been like? What's the reaction?
Been a bit crazy with so many people looking, but it's fun to do this. Do this for being a TA for astronomy labs. Do this upstairs at night sometimes. So it's just a much bigger crowd doing it this time.
Oh my gosh, I bet literally there were hundreds and hundreds of kids out here earlier. There's actually a Greek life festival going on across, and everyone was over here for the solar eclipse viewing party. That's going to make you feel pretty good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to see people actually seeing astronomy, liking astronomy and everything, and hopefully getting kids into astronomy as well.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. And now you can still see there's a lot of kids out here who are just kind of looking around and just observing it, because you're still getting those little glimpses when you can peek up at the sun, especially once those clouds move away. And it's been really awesome to see these kids out here just, again, like I said, oohing and awing at this site and just honestly really interested in it. And I did talk to one of the professors who set up this viewing party earlier, and he was just so excited that people were taking such a passion in the sciences. He hopes this sparks, a new turn for people to get out and really explore science and really explore what the world has to offer, because there is just a lot going on. And I know it has been really cool for a lot of these kids out here today. But for now, I'll send it back to you guys.
All right, Gail Levy reporting for us from FIU. Lots of excited students there, some into astronomy and some just curious to see what this thing is all about.
A big day for them, and what a great opportunity, to, as I said earlier, to work this into the lesson plan. This is Niagara Falls, where they peaked about 3 minutes ago. So the sun is going to slowly reemerge over the next few minutes as they have reached totality at 3:20 p.m. just a couple of moments ago. And outside of it, do we have a few of these stacked up in a row? Do we have
We were looking at Tupper Lake, New York, prior to this.
Tupper Lake is up next. They're 3:26. So they're just a few moments away from totality.
So we started in Mazatlan, Mexico. They were the first set of folks to see the totality, to see the eclipse. Then Kerrville, Texas was kind of next on the path. Dallas, Texas, Russellville, Arkansas, Illinois got their glimpse. And then we went over to Jack in Indianapolis, where they had it at 3:06. Cleveland, Ohio, Niagara Falls, and that's what we're looking at here, right? This is Niagara Falls. They already had their totality, and now we're starting to see the sun peek through yet again.
And Tupper Lake, New York coming up, and then Stowe, Vermont, as we round out our path across the United States over the next several minutes. So there is more to stay tuned for, so don't go away. Our coverage will continue in a moment. We are your eye on the eclipse this afternoon, the great American eclipse unfolding. Next up, after we conclude in New York State, we'll Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. In extreme northern Maine, they'll be in the path of totality. So folks there are gearing up in the next several minutes for that to happen there.
Speaking of New York, we want to head out to Buffalo, New York, and that is where we find Connor Hansen, who's here with us once again. How did it go? Connor, tell us everything.
Well, Belkys and Craig, we literally just got out of the path of totality here in Buffalo, and that was my first time experiencing it. Very, very cool. I wish you could have been with us just a few minutes ago, but it would have been tough to see because everything went completely dark just in a matter of minutes. It looked like how it does right now behind me. to pitch black. And, you know, hundreds of people are here with us in this park. Everybody was cheering. It was such a cool experience. As we talked about before, been dealing with some cloud cover here in Buffalo all day, but very fortunate that the clouds broke up just a little bit throughout the eclipse, and then again during that path of during the totality of it. So we were able to see the full eclipse, the corona around the sun. Very, very cool. Kind of a strange experience. You know, you feel a little bit weird after it goes dark like that and the light comes back. Like, I don't know if you can see on camera, but we almost have these insects, these bugs flying around that weren't here before, almost as if they thought it was nighttime coming up here from the pond behind us. So very interesting reaction. I know people who had dogs here, you know, falling asleep, everyone, you know, so hundreds of people here, some people leaving now. We will still be able to see the eclipse as the moon continues to move over the sun, but we're only getting to see it intermittently when the clouds allow. So very cool experience, and hoping everyone else in Buffalo got to still see a little bit of that full eclipse and got the same break in the clouds that we did.
Yeah, it seems as though even with the cloud cover in simply here as well, that you still were able to get just enough to get a flavor of what the excitement is all about.
Exactly. It's so cool just to feel it go dark like that. I mean, it's a strange feeling, but cool to experience. So I know a lot of people traveled very far to get to some of these cities, spent a lot of money to do it. Even if it was cloudy, like it was in a lot of places. I heard it was a little bit cloudy down there in Miami. People still got to get something out of it and have that experience. And if not that, then they got to hang out with a ton of people in the same place and kind of share that experience.
And we keep saying it's all about the energy, right? Feeling that energy.
Yeah.
Connor Hansen reporting for us from Buffalo, New York. Thank you for sharing your thoughts on it. It's every time we hear from somebody that's out there in it, it's the same feeling, it's the same wording. It's just such a cool thing. As we take another look at our solar cam here, this is what people are experiencing now in Maine.
Holton, Maine. Northern Maine is really going to get the prime spot for viewing. Largely a rural area, but like so many communities, they've been overrun. I just happened to see some social media posts from one of the main highways that leads you through New England, jam-packed, bumper to bumper earlier today. People heading up to places like this for that. So we'll keep an eye on what's happening in northern New England and Vermont, New Hampshire as well as we continue, so don't go away.
have got our eye on the eclipse as it makes its way across the U.S. This is a live picture from our solar cam of Holton, Maine. They are now in the totality, full totality, and look how beautiful that looks. And you know, what's extra cool about this particular event is that the moon is closer to the Earth than it's been for previous eclipse. So this magical, mystical, cosmic event is made even cooler visually because of that placement of the moon. So if you know you're a science person, you already knew that, but my husband is a science nerd. That's why I'm repeating what he told me, and that's what makes this extra special and just even more visual. And it is incredible every time we see it. It never gets old.
The other thing that's neat about particularly these parts of northern New England, these are really rural communities, not a lot of development, so when they get to darkness, it's really dark.
Yeah.
They're getting a real dose of an abbreviated nighttime there.
Without a doubt.
These are areas with sparse populations and extremely...
You go out at night there on a summer night, and the stars, the sky is just full of stars.
Magnificent.
So that doesn't make it even better.
I hope we get some video from there later that just shows what they're able to experience because of their location. Speaking of people getting together to take in the spectacle, Vanessa Medina is at Broward College, where people have been enjoying this afternoon. Vanessa?
Well, I have my specs on, and I'm looking up, and it looks like there's just a bite out of the sun. And listening to you guys, I have a little FOMO. I am really missing out. Not just a fear, I'm missing out on this magical experience because we can't see it that well down here, but it has been pretty incredible. So to soften the blow, I've kind of been eating some moon pies here, and I've been speaking to some of the students. Now, we have two students here who we have been speaking with throughout the day. Now, tell me a little bit about what you saw and how cool was it?
Well, we've been waiting for the eclipse since 12. We've been here for 3 hours now. We got to see the entire transformation of the sun and the moon coming together. Well, seemingly coming together. I've also been eating the eclipse moon pies. They've been really good. I can't wait for another 30 years to go by so I can get these again.
Now, tell me, when was the last time you saw something like this?
Yeah, the last time I saw this when I was in 5th grade. It was actually right here. So I woke up with some pep in my step this morning. I was excited to get down here and really see it again.
That was back in 2017.
Yes.
And so to be here again, it's kind of cool. Like it's like a cycle, right?
It's definitely crazy. You have to fly down when we're in our 30s just to come back with the moon pies just to see it again. It's really amazing.
You have to wait quite some time before you see something like this
I
again.
guess so, but it's a privilege to wait because who knows, in a couple decades this might not even be a chance. So I'm happy to have the chance to see the eclipse today and possibly in the future.
Well, thank you so much, ladies. It's been exciting. They have been watching this all day. They've been out here with their glasses. Students were out here. They weren't in class, which probably made them a bit happier, but it has been a magical day, like you said, seeing something that's just a moment in time, a moment in history that we won't get back for quite some time. So it is a privilege to be out here reporting and watching just all of this majestic beauty happening all the way up there. It almost seems closer than it actually is, but it's been an amazing day. Back to you guys in the studio.
Vanessa, don't have FOMO with us. We're stuck inside. Yeah. We have FOMO with Jack Royer, who was in the path of totality and was really in the thick of that.
I know.
I have FOMO from you because you're having the moon pies.
Well, we were in this magical moment. I wanted to teleport myself to Indianapolis because the things that he was seeing and talking about, yeah, I was a little jealous. I'm a little upset, I will say, but it's okay. I'll just
eat another moon pie.
Right. But Vanessa, even with the limited exposure, grab the box that we had here, I get the impression from those students you talked to that even with what we did see, even that was enough to move them almost to the point of not being able to describe it.
It's so exciting. I mean, like they said, they'll probably be in their 30s or 40s when they see this again. So it really was a moment in time. They got to see together as friends. They took pictures, snaps. They're putting it on Instagram, and it will really be with them forever because it's on social media as I sit here and enjoy my moon pie.
Hey, Vanessa, really quick, Erica Delgado told us when this was happening here for us, the temperature dropped about 3 degrees. Did you feel any of that out there?
That did happen. I had my umbrella out here because I will say when we were waiting for it to happen, I had my umbrella out. It was quite hot. However, when it happened, you could automatically feel it was about 10 degrees cooler out here. It was quite cloudy, but it was also dim out here, much dimmer than with that bright sun pointing right at us. So it's a good thing that I did plan ahead and I put my sunblock on and, of course, brought some dessert to have as well.
And more importantly, you didn't bring any desserts. You stuck with the theme, okay? I can appreciate that. You stuck with the theme. I'm so proud.
Exactly.
Moon pies, no less.
100%. You know me. Absolutely. I'll bring some back for you guys.
Love you. Thank you, Vanessa Medina, reporting for us from Broward College. You know, we keep saying how great it is. Everybody's out there. Everybody's enjoying it. And it's just such a beautiful shared moment.
Yeah, it's a community in the truest sense of the word, because everybody's together on the same page, interested about the same thing. This is how it looks in Washington right now, in the nation's capital, where they weren't in the path of totality, but they did see a good chunk of the sun gobbled up for a short period of time anyway. So we'll keep an eye on Washington and elsewhere, as, again, northern New England is about to really see this. Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, so we'll be checking in there too as our coverage continues. Stay tuned.
Not all Caitlin Clark.
We are keeping our eye on the eclipse. This is a live picture of what things look like in Dallas, Texas right now. This is Solar Cam. Dallas got their eclipse a while ago. It started over there about 2:45 or so, and now the sun is peeking back through, but I'm sure they're telling tall stories about what they saw and how it felt and everything else out in Dallas, Texas today as this eclipse continues to make its way across America. New England is where it is right now, and there'll be the next round of people to ooh and ah over this thing.
That's right. There were plenty of oohing and ahhing also over at the Frost Museum today, where it's been a big day for them. Alex Miranda is there with some of that for us. Alex?
And thank goodness, a sunny day. Guys, are you having fun? You enjoying it? We have a telescope here. This is why the Frost is, one of the coolest places to watch the eclipse. Jerry is currently watching. Jerry, what do you see in this super high-tech telescope?
I see the sunspot and the cloud. It's a cloudy day, so the clouds keep going by.
Do you see any aliens?
No, not yet.
Okay, that's a good thing. Let's go over to Luciana over here. Luciana, she watched it at its peak. I don't even know where you are because I can barely see through these sunglasses, but Luciana, what was it like for you?
Well, it's really cool seeing it at its maximum coverage. Right now it's a really fun time spending this time with my dad. He's right over there recording me.
And I bet you're never gonna forget this experience, right?
No, never. This will be a lifetime that I'll never forget.
Well, look, in 20 years you can come see the total eclipse that hits Miami, and that'll, don't save your breath for that one. Alec. Oh, hi. He runs things here at the planetarium. Alec, I think you're standing there. Why am I wearing these things? Tell us something very interesting about this eclipse.
So, well, this eclipse is actually quite interesting because it's going to be the last one for quite a long time here in the continental United States. Next one won't be until 2044. The next total eclipse here in Miami will be 2045. So we still have quite a long time before the next one.
But interestingly, Alec, I learned that we have proof of solar eclipses dating way back. So tell me about one of them.
Of an eclipse actually comes to us from ancient China. It was inscribed on the back of a tortoise shell and describes an eclipse occurring over 3,300 years ago.
Well, how do you know they just weren't drawing a circle?
Well, because the Chinese language is actually quite similar to how it is today. It's evolved a bit over time, but we can actually understand that ancient writing even from that long ago.
Okay, obviously you're passionate about this stuff, so tell me, what was it like for you to watch this partial eclipse today at the Frost?
I love any time that we can have communal science experiences with everybody, and it doesn't really get much more communal than an eclipse because everybody who can see the sun outside can experience this thing. And so
it is, right? Everybody, it's been an incredible community-like experience, right? Yeah. Okay, look, I did share one joke earlier. I want to share one more again. Charlotte, tell me how this relates back to vampires.
So, I actually heard that during the last eclipse, a lot of vampires lost their lives because they thought it was nighttime.
And they walked outside into the sun. Y'all, that was a good one. In downtown Miami,
vampire.
Alex Miranda. You're not going to forget that one. The vampires have to beware.
Oh, wow.
7 News.
All right, well, I'm a vampire and I'm inside, so I'm good. Thanks, Alex. Amazing, amazing.
Let's see what they're seeing in Maine. This is Portland, Maine, where they're among the last in the United States to get this view as the eclipse in totality in these parts of the country get that over the next handful of minutes here.
Stick around. We'll have more continuing coverage of the eye on the eclipse when we take a quick break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
On the eclipse, this is Washington, D.C. right now. They were not in the path of totality, but starting at about 2 o'clock this afternoon, at the maximum at about 3:20 this afternoon, 4 minutes and 28 seconds, the sun was partially covered there in the nation's capital, and because of the cloud conditions and whatnot, cast a bit of a haze, a bit of an orangey hue on the capital city there this afternoon.
I think we have a live picture of the actual Capitol building right now as to how it looks as a result of that partial eclipse that's taking place in our nation's capital. And, you know, despite all of the stuff going on in Washington where people don't agree and can't come together and can't meet in the middle, something like an eclipse today, I have to believe that, you know, everybody was just united out there trying to look at it and see it and share this moment in time as a collective group of people that could just come together and put all their disagreements aside. So focus on the positive, how this event today brought so many people together.
It's nice to have something uplifting and
to rally around,
and awe-inspiring to talk about. And we'll continue to talk about it on the other side of a break, so stay tuned.
Get full
South Florida, welcome back. We've had our eye on the eclipse for the last 2 hours, and here's a look at that cloud cover that we've been talking about. Remember that totality that we saw on our satellite across areas of Texas? Well, now you'll notice those whites coming back. That means that darkness is no longer. But as we work our way along that path of totality through the nation's midsection, still looking a little dim from areas like Little Rock all the way through Indianapolis, northern New England right now, seeing that totality, and it is dark across the area. For us here, we reached 46% in the early 3 o'clock hour, but now we're beginning to see that moon move farther and farther away from the sun. When all is said and done here in South Florida, 4:13 will be the time. Cloud cover did get a little dim for South Florida, very slight dimming, but now things are bright with just some clouds pushing through. We'll have much more for you coming up on the other side of the break.
After his crash, we got Robert over 50 times.
to Classic for 12 years. They start calling me Mr. Lucky because...
All afternoon long, this is a live picture from Solar Cam of Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland, Ohio, on the path of totality that came across North America. Some 44 million people were in that path of totality out there watching this thing. According to the National Air and Space Museum and the Associated Press, today's eclipse may be the most viewed astronomical event in history. How is that?
Certainly brought an awful lot of people together to take it in from far and wide. South Florida was in on the action. There's still a little bit left to see here in our area. By 4:13, it will be complete. There will be another partial eclipse in January 2028, but to see the real deal here in our area, it's 20 years away. Stay with us. We'll have complete Team 7 coverage. Thank you for watching. I'm Craig Stevens.
I'm Belkis Nure. 7 News at 4 is up next.